Imagine having the power to rewind time and relive special moments in your life. This is the story of Riku, who could travel back in time thanks to a record. When the love of his life passes, Riku goes back in time several times, desperate to change her fate. But is fate something that mortals have control over? Let's find out. In the opening scene of the 100th Love With You, a young girl, Ai Hinata, sits on a bench, clutching the broken pieces of her record. A boy with a guitar strapped on approaches her, claiming that he can help her fix the record. The two of them stare at each other, and the scene changes. Ai is sleeping in the classroom and holding a book to cover her face. The book drops and she wakes up, drawing the attention of the teacher as well as the other students. She tries to pick the book up and her friend, Rina, whispers to her to look beside her. The lecturer is standing there, shocking her. He tells her that if she relaxes too much, time thieves will steal her time away. The lecturer picks up the book and hands it to her. She apologizes and the lecture continues. After class, Ai celebrates, since it is the last class for the session. It's the summer before she goes to England for a study program. Rina doesn't think she's ready to study in England, since she keeps sleeping in class. However, Ai laughs it off, promising to worry about it when she gets there. She checks her friend's watch and discovers it's 1 o'clock. They are about to start running when Ai bumps into a guy. She apologizes to him and makes sure he's okay before turning to her friend and hurrying off. In the next scene, a guy, Naaya, isn't happy that Ai is going to England for a year, because he has a crush on her. He's scared because the students in England are less conservative, and she'll meet a lot of handsome guys. His friend Testuka, who they also call Teta, agrees with him and encourages him to confess to her. Just then, Ai and Rina walk into the room. The guys are startled upon their entrance. Ai takes her acoustic guitar out of the bag and asks where the last band member Riku is, but none of them have seen him. Ai, Teta, Naaya, and Riku are in a band called Stroboscope. They take their positions, while Rina designs a flyer for the band. Ai asks them to join her to celebrate her birthday after their gig, and tests her guitar before she starts singing. But Teta, the drummer, isn't ready and tries to stop her. Annoyed by his interruption, she stops and tells him to be serious. Then she turns around to see Riku, who believes she's rushing. Her eyes follow him as he tests his guitar and takes his position. Finally, they start playing as Ai sings. After the practice, Riku tells Naaya and Tetsuka about their mistakes, and then he picks up his bag and starts leaving. Ai tries to ask him a favor, but he refuses, knowing that she wants to ask him to follow her to shop for her study program in England. He simply tells her that he's busy and walks out. The band members aren't surprised at how he knew, because Riku is known for being observant and a perfectionist. While they talk about him, Riku is busy studying in the library. The next day, the alarm goes off, Ai's mother wakes her up, and she starts tidying up her messy room. She realizes that Ai hasn't gotten some essentials for her trip. Just then, Yudo, Ai's brother, joins them to inform their mother of the burning food, making her run out of the room. Ai looks at her brother and notices that something about him has changed. He has dyed his hair blonde. He leaves when she starts questioning him. In the next scene, Ai visits a cafe and walks up to the counter to greet Shuntaro, the owner of the shop. She sees him trying to fix a record. Afterward, he plays the record, but it's still faulty. Just then, Riku comes downstairs for food. He stayed up late reading, which is surprising to Ai since exams are over. She informs him that she'll be making a sign with Rina and asks him to help them. Later, Teta and Naaya feed a goat as some workers dig holes in the ground, while Rina and Ai work on the sign on another side of the yard. While they are working, Ai talks about her brother and how she thinks he has a girlfriend. But Rina asks if she'll be okay with not seeing Riku for a year and calls her a coward for not expressing her feelings to him. But Ai feels that things are fine the way they are, as long as he's keeping his promise of celebrating her birthday with her till she's 100 years old. Rina thinks Riku doesn't see Ai as someone special, and Ai playfully attacks her by putting some paint on her nose. Riku is late again. In the next scene, Riku, Rina, and Teta load their instruments into the trunk of a car. Ai keeps glancing at Riku, who's sitting on a stone bench. A lady approaches Riku, and he stands up to look at a paper with her. They all stare at Riku and the lady. Teta reveals that the woman is a physics graduate, adding that Riku goes for women who can help him grow. Ai masks her jealousy by smiling. Later on, Naaya decides to speak with Riku. He knows it's about Ai, since it's obvious that he likes her. Naaya goes straight to the point, asking if Riku has feelings for Ai, but Riku denies it. Naaya then confesses that he'll be expressing his feelings to Ai, but instead of opposing it, Riku tells him to be good to her. Ai, Rina, Teta, and Naaya are at a restaurant when Naaya asks Ai to meet him at a shrine to talk. Everyone on the table gets curious about what he wants to talk about. Teta soon realizes that Naaya is going to confess to Ai, and agrees it's a good idea for them to meet in the shrine. Ai is impatient, and asks him what he wants to say. He gives her a sign, but she doesn't know the meaning. Frustrated, he blurts out that he wants to confess to her. The atmosphere changes, and everyone starts acting awkward. Naaya leaves, embarrassed. Ai goes to the cafe to look for Riku, but he's not around, so Shuntaro asks her to stay for dinner. Ai goes upstairs to Riku's room. She looks around and opens his closet. A cat runs out of the closet, startling her for a second. She sees a record and takes a look at it. Just then Riku comes in, takes the record from her, and hides it before closing the closet. She wants to talk to him about their gig, and he guesses that she wants to write a new song, and his guess is correct as always. Aoi empties her bag, which contains cutouts with sentences and words she's adding to the song. Riku plays the guitar as they try to find a tune. Aoi also wants to play the guitar, and Riku guides her. But she's unable to hold the chords down, and complains that it's because her hands are tiny. Riku places his hand on hers to compare the difference, and things become awkward as he takes the guitar from her. She wonders why he doesn't sing on stage, and he claims he doesn't want to. Suddenly, out of the blue, Riku tells her to be happy with Naoya if he disappears somewhere. She is surprised by his words, and soon gets upset at the fact that he's trying to set her up with Naoya. She gathers her things and leaves, saying they won't be able to finish the song by Sunday, the day of the gig. In the next scene, Ai reveals to Rina what Riku said, upset that he doesn't know how she feels. Just then, she receives a message from Naoya apologizing for what happened the previous day, and asking to talk. Ai believes that she may as well go out with Naoya, since Riku insists. Annoyed, Rina informs Ai that Naoya has liked her for a long time, so she should properly turn him down if she's not interested, and not settle for him just because she can't get Riku. Rina calls her selfish and walks out. This makes Ai realize that Rina likes Naoya, and she sits in silence. At the cafe, Shuntaro asks Riku if he can handle being at Ai's birthday party, which is happening after their gig. He wonders if Riku fought with Ai, since she left before eating dinner, but Riku brushes it off as nothing. His uncle advises him to not push his luck, or she'll move on from him. Riku then asks if he's going to remain single, but Shuntaro looks up at a woman's picture pasted on the wall, before replying that he's not seen anyone yet. The next day is the festival, where their gig is taking place. Ai's mother hands out guidebooks while Shuntaro walks around the festival. Meanwhile, the band members sit backstage at a table. There's an awkward silence, and Ai leaves with her guitar. She looks at the crowd, trying to find Rina. Teda comes up behind her. Ai asks if he's heard from Rina, but he hasn't. Teda knows that Rina likes Naoya, making Ai feel terrible for not knowing about her friend's feelings. It's their band's turn to go on stage, so Teda and Naoya get up, and she's about to join them when Riku stops her. She has a frown on her face, and he tells her to take a deep breath. He tries to make her feel better, but ends up making her more upset. She goes on stage and they start playing. Ai starts singing along to the beat, but freezes. The host asks what's wrong, and gives them another chance. Afterward, the band goes backstage. Ai looks distraught while the others try to cheer her up, but it doesn't work. She walks out looking sad. She doesn't turn back, even when Naoya calls her. With her head down, Ai walks past the crowd. She tears up and pulls out her handkerchief to wipe her eyes, but a paper falls out. She chases the paper into the road, not noticing the truck approaching at full speed. The truck horn goes off, and as she turns around to see the vehicle, everything becomes pitch black. In the next scene, Ai jerks awake in class, making everyone turn to look at her. Rina tells her to look beside her, and she sees the lecturer. The day is repeating itself, just like before, with the lecturer's words and band practice. Ai is confused at first, but gets frustrated. She reveals to her friends that she's seen everything before, making them confused. But they only tell her that what she's feeling is déjà vu. Still, she doesn't agree with them. She almost reveals that Naoya asked her out when he shows her the same sign he used before. The next day, Ai is awake before the alarm goes off. She sits up and says she'll pack and go shopping before her mom can say a word. She informs her mother that the food is burning, and she hurries out of the room. Later on, Rina talks to Ai about leaving without telling Riku her feelings. Ai takes that opportunity to ask if Rina likes Naoya. Rina is flustered and denies it. Ai reveals to Rina that if everything repeats itself, she's going to be hit by a truck. Rina assures her that it's just a strange dream. Ai gets emotional and asks Rina for forgiveness, asking that they stay friends for as long as possible. Everything else repeats, but Ai is a few steps ahead this time around. Riku seems surprised that she ran out of the way, and she reveals that everything is the same as the week before. He starts laughing, and she walks out. In the next scene, Riku joins Ai, who's sitting on a bench staring at the horizon. She's convinced that it's not a dream, and Riku interrupts her by scolding her for being careless and jumping in front of a truck. He assures her that she won't pass away. Ai is surprised that he knows, and he decides to tell her his secret. He takes her to his room and opens the closet. He confesses that he's been cheating since he was young by turning back time. When he was young, he found the record of life, and his uncle taught him how to use it to rewind time. She finds it hard to believe until he places the needle on the record. Ai wakes up in the classroom, but doesn't disrupt the class this time. She looks around for the lecturer and sees him. She runs out of the class, causing the lecturer to stop in his steps, and the students turn to watch her leave. She meets Riku outside, as they planned. He reassures her that she won't lose her life. Ai gets curious as to what he meant when he said he's been cheating, and Riku confesses that he didn't know how to play the guitar when they were young. Young Ai had come to the shop to see if Shuntaro could fix her late father's record, but was disappointed that it could not be fixed. Riku had seen this and rewound time to learn how to play the guitar in time for AI's birthday. He continued rewinding the time until he got good at playing the guitar. Young Riku then approaches AI saying he can fix her record, but instead plays the guitar and sings the song on the record. He did the same thing when he made her a chocolate record for her 16th birthday. In the present day, AI is touched by the lengths he went to get those things done for her. Riku confesses that the first song he wrote took him 3 months, even though everyone thought he wrote it overnight, and that he'd found Teda and Naoya before their entrance ceremony, where she first met them. It all makes sense to AI now. The reason Riku is always one step ahead and calm in every situation is that he is rewinding time. He confesses that he wants to look cool in front of her. He gets shy and starts leaving. AI asks if he likes her, but he dodges the question. AI follows him, jumping and dancing. She reminds him that he told her to be happy with Naoya, but he tells her that it must have been a dream. Riku confesses that he's loved her from the first day they met. They both realize their feelings for each other, and AI thinks it's a waste, since she'll be leaving for England soon. Riku asks her if she wants to start over from last summer, and she agrees. They run back and reset the time. This time, Riku and AI date openly, not hiding their affection for each other. They enjoy their time with the band members and go on dates. They share their first kiss at the library, with Riku promising to catch her anytime she falls. He even gives her a necklace. In the next scene, Riku asks AI why she wants to be a translator when she can't speak English, but AI believes she will learn it when she gets there. Riku wants her to think of the consequences, but she wants to enjoy her present and let the future worry about itself. She also asks why he switched to a science major in university, but he claims he can't remember. He assures her that her dreams will come true. Later, while Teda, Rina, and Naoya are at the restaurant, Naoya complains about not having a girlfriend, comparing himself to Riku. Teda believes it is because he's not self-composed, but Rina disagrees, claiming he's better than Riku. Meanwhile, Riku and AI keep enjoying their time together. In the next scene, the band members come together to practice for their last gig together before AI leaves for England. She wants it to be memorable and suggests they light up fireworks at the end of their performance. Riku smiles as he watches their interaction. He takes a mental note of her wish. At the festival, everything repeats itself, except AI sings her song and doesn't freeze this time. They have a drink backstage to celebrate. While Riku is cleaning his guitar, the host engages him in a chat. Riku looks at his band member, S, and can't find AI. He checks the time and rushes to find her. He sees people gathered close to an ambulance, and pushes his way to the front. He's mortified at what he sees, and the screen turns black. AI pays attention this time around. She's in different clothes, and is wearing the necklace Riku gave her. Riku runs into the class and hugs her, not caring that he just disturbed the class. At band practice, Riku doesn't show up, and they ask AI if he told her anything, but she doesn't know why. After the practice, AI and Teda see Riku begging the physics graduate to explain something to him, but she tells him that it'll take time. Riku is desperate, but the lady walks out on him. Later on, Riku and AI rehearse the new song. All the while, Riku is acting weird, and AI soon realizes that he traveled back in time without her when she notices some unfamiliar lyrics in the song. In the next scene, Riku receives a message about AI and runs to where the band practices. He meets Naoya, who's happy that he won the bet against Teda. AI and Rina walk in, and AI asks what they were betting on. Naoya explains that Riku misses band practice, but runs over the moment he gets a message about AI. Rina defends Teda and Naoya by saying that they're worried about him. Naoya agrees and asks Riku to tell them his worries, but he starts leaving. Naoya stops him, reminding Riku that they have a gig in a few days, but Riku doesn't think it's important. Naoya gets angry and tells Riku to get out, but they don't know the weight of the burden. In the next scene, AI meets with the physics graduate. The lady reveals that Riku has been asking questions on topics related to time. However, the study will take some time, and he's been erratic lately. Afterward, AI looks through Riku's notebook when he is not there, and she sees a shocking revelation: several records of her own passing. In the next scene, Riku is distressed, and his uncle notices. Riku confesses that he's tried everything to save AI. He even took her on a trip that day, but nothing worked. She always loses her life at 1810 on the 31st. He's seen her demise so many times, and he still can't figure out how he can change her fate. Unknown to him, AI is at the door, listening to the conversation. He reveals to his uncle that he went back in time with AI without using the record once, so he's sure there's something he can do. But his uncle explains that it was because he wasn't fated to meet his end, and that's why he was able to go back in time without the record. He dragged her along, he didn't change her fate. Riku wonders how his uncle is sure of that, and Shantaro reveals that he has tried it before. AI is sad with what she hears, and heads back home. The next day, AI is deep in thought. She walks out of the band practice and goes to the place where Riku confesses his love to her. Riku shows up so they can practice the song. While practicing, Riku tries to make up an excuse to go back in time with her, but she confronts him for traveling back and seeing her demise every time. Riku believes that they can continue rewinding time for as long as they want, so she won't have to lose her life. He suggests that they travel back to high school when they want to sing at an event. But AI just closes her eyes as she recalls all the special memories she's made with Riku and breaks the record. Riku's heart shatters like the broken record before him. He is surprised and wants to know why she gave up, and she starts crying, telling him that she doesn't want to go back again. She doesn't want him to keep going back in time just to be with her. She believes all the time they spent together is too special to be relived. The next day, AI plays the guitar, singing to the melody. Meanwhile, Riku desperately tries to fix the record. In the next scene, AI's mother walks in to see that AI has packed her things. She gives AI a birthday gift, which is an alarm loud enough to wake her up. She advises her daughter on how to behave when she's there, and encourages her to return home whenever she's homesick. AI tears up and hugs her mother, knowing she won't be coming home ever again. Later, Riku plays the record he fixed, but it doesn't work. His uncle tells him that he traveled in time many times to save his wife, but nothing worked. He grew tired and spent the remaining time with his wife, who told him that he'd been distant for some time, and she was glad that he was back. The remaining time spent with her was the happiest they had ever been. Shuntaro asks Riku if he's going to spend the little time they have left trying to fix a broken record. Riku picks up the book with the lyrics of the song he wrote with AI. At the band practice, Riku apologizes to Teda and Naoya about their previous interaction, and pleads that he wants to do the gig with them. They readily accept him, even when he tells them that he wants them to sing the new song AI wrote. At the festival, Rina and Riku plead with the fireworks man to help them. Afterward, Riku runs to get AI, who's staring at the sea, reminding her that their gig is about to start. AI reveals that she's confused. She never worried about her future before, but now she doesn't know what to do. Riku hugs her, revealing that he can't predict anything, but he wants to spend his present time with her. So they run off together to the festival. Back at the festival, the host asks the band members to get on stage, but they are waiting for AI and Riku, so they ignore him. Just then, the couple runs in, and the band members go on stage. Before Rina goes to watch from the auditorium, AI stops her. She asks if she's going to leave things the way they are with Naoya, because a summer spent as friends is different from a summer spent as lovers. She hugs Rina tightly before running on stage. Riku starts playing, and she realizes that it's the new song. So she takes a deep breath and starts singing, enjoying every moment on stage. Riku joins her in singing. After the performance, fireworks go off, making AI happy. Then Riku comes up behind her and wishes her a happy birthday. She knows he's the one behind the fireworks, and with tears filling her eyes, she appreciates him for the best present ever. She confesses that out of her 100 birthdays, this was the best one. The scene goes black. In the next scene, the band members stand by the sea, wearing black and looking sober. There is a space that shows that AI has passed away. Rina can't hold in her tears, and Naoya leads her away. Teda pats Riku on his shoulder and leaves. Riku goes into his uncle's shop, and his uncle plays a record before leaving. Riku hears AI's voice and approaches the record. It is AI's last message to Riku. She recorded herself singing for his 100th birthday gift. She comforts him and encourages him to be strong and move forward by living a vibrant life. Hearing her voice, Riku starts crying. As AI's song plays in the background, Riku moves on with his life as she wanted him to. He reorganizes his room, attends class with his friends, and hangs out with the band members. The band continues playing at gigs after AI's demise. In the last scene, Riku sits on a bench as he recalls his beautiful memories with AI. He looks at the space beside him and looks into the sky before leaving. The empty bench stares off into the horizon.